The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. Well, pleasant good evening. It is Thursday, October 19, 2023. Welcome to the only show about Spartan Dawgs, hosted by Spartan Dawgs. This is Sparta MSU. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, the boss, Otis Wiley, and Jehuu Caulcrick. This is your first time to the show. We want to welcome you. If this is not, we want to thank you. Be sure to go to the chat because that's where the party's at, and be sure to tell us where you're watching us from, and be sure to watch us on all of our social media platforms at This is Sparta MSU. And look, don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons. Doesn't cost you a thing, helps us a whole lot. You know what, fellas? It's Thursday, and it is rivalry week. School down the road is on the clock.
Been on the clock. Look, countdown, baby, it's real. Look, remember you used to take your helmet? I mean, Coach D was like, it's a business trip.
Yeah.
Carry it everywhere you go. You sleep with this thing, and then you put this thing on, and you go. And you go. Straight through the wall, baby. Straight through. Look, we wore these pro combat boys. What happened last time we wore these boys? We turned up on the boys, right?
That was a dub.
Dub.
This is that relic boy right here.
Ooh, that boy.
That's that Muddy Waters.
That's that relic.
That Muddy Waters helmet.
That look like the autographed memorabilia mini helmet, boy. Look at you.
That's the real deal, baby.
Can you still put it on?
I know. No, I'm not even gonna try.
Your hair got bigger. You had hair.
Man, them things, man. Look, I don't want to.
I know you ain't got.
That's for the grandbabies right there.
I got
you. Game worn. You know what I mean? But I like that more loudly. That helmet you had.
Man,
that's sweet.
Combat.
Chew Nike Combat. Yes, it. Chew, like, man, look. First of all, before we get into all that, be sure let us know what your favorite memories of this rivalry are. Drop it in the chat. Let us know on social medias. And then we closed Tuesday's show with that anniversary call of the trouble with the snap. I don't know if we have that. We got to listen to it one more time just to get everybody in the mood for this show. Tony, can you pull that up for us?
Coming after him. Bad snap. Bobble. Scooped up. Here come the Spartans. Down the sideline. Racing into the end zone.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Into the end zone is Jalen. Watts. Jackson. Touchdown, MSU.
Touchdown.
Folks, no flags.
No
Spartans
flags. Oh, my God.
piling on each other in the end zone. It's over. The Spartans win again. The Spartans win again.
George, what a call. My God. My God. How did that happen?
I wish we didn't see that because that's when we broke that hip. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, golly.
Jalen Watts.
Just the sheer pandemonium in the booth. And there was a lot of things. Let's clear something. Like, all that screaming is not straight. There's other people in the booth.
I thought it was, but then they start hearing. I was like, was that Ira? Who was that?
No, that was Larry Cernick.
That was Larry?
That was Larry. Absolutely. Oh my God. You know, people, I can't even get that high.
I was like, sounds like, man, it's strange. Like,
no, yeah, people do think that was me screaming off the mic. But Larry Cernick, a longtime statistician who now lives out in Minnesota, so we might see him next week when we go out there to see the Golden Gophers. But yeah, that was him. A lot of screaming. And I mean, I like the two guys, the Spartans, that they're trying to get the papers ready so they can just show it. They were calm under pressure, man. I don't know the names of those guys. But yeah,
I like the other ones where they start talking their stuff. They're looking at Michigan fans. You saw that? It's like,
Oh, could you like? I almost wish I was in the stadium, like around the fans at that time. That could have been that would have been fun. Whoever was still there, because I know there was some who had left the stadium, but everybody kind of remembers where they were at that moment when they heard that happen.
Here's a question: where's that rank on the best endings of a college football game? You know, we got like, you know, the UC Berkeley, like that one,
Stanford,
Stanford band. You got, but that one right there is like, I mean, we're biased, but that is number one because my man's like fumbled with too much buttered popcorn on the sideline. He thought he had a closed deal, right? I mean, good Lord. I remember where I was at. I was in Dallas Bar at the Michigan State Spartans alumni chapter, and I yelled, Kevin Garnett, anything's possible before it happened.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. And I was like,
anything's possible.
Anything's possible. All of a sudden, man, I don't like to take credit for it, but I did say that, like, anything's possible. It truly is. Like, we can block this thing, but, like, to be no time expired and you run in and he almost got caught, but, man, like, I would have somebody to pick him up, carry him in there. That's the best. I'm glad it was us versus the other side because I feel like it always happens to us, right? Like, back, but that was an epic, like, back in what year was that? 04 when Braylon did? No, 04 when Braylon did that. When Braylon took over
04, that one,
man, he went ham on us. But to kind of flip side of it, now we do that at the big house, like epic.
Yeah. What do you think, Chu? Like for me, I think that ranks at the top below the kick six in the Iron Bowl, Alabama Auburn, and then that Cal Berkeley versus Stanford with the band. It used to be the top one, but you know, more modern football. This was hard to beat.
I think without a doubt, I think this is the number one. And then for me, the second one would probably be that Colorado, Michigan, that Hail Mary, Cordell Stewart, that Hail Mary there, and then the kick six for me. Those are my orders there. But yeah, that definitely is the all-time, number one call. Because at that point, I know I was sitting, I'm not like, Otis call, he's like, anything's possible. He still have faith. I lost faith. I was texting. We had a group chat. We're like, man, we're going to have to walk the alleys, for the entire year.
You conceded.
You raised the flag?
I was waving and then that happened, and I just lose it.
On the air, full disclosure, George and I are trying to figure out, because, at that point, you got 10 seconds to go. As a player, my mindset is like, okay, how are we going to get in position to try to get in position to throw a Hail Mary? I think we're down by 4 at that point in the game. So,
even if you fumble and recovered it, like just strategically, we wouldn't have time. We wouldn't have time if you just ran a little bit, but you botched that and then you get the fumble recovery. There's no else to play. Like, you can't talk about no saving points, no cover over under. Like, that was the football gods. Like,
the whole reason behind because I'm hoping, like, is he going to go out of bounds? If he's going to go out of bounds, you want time left. You don't want to run out of bounds. Clock strikes 0, you run out of bounds because you're dead, right? And so, I'm like holding my breath, and at the same time trying to keep my emotions in check because you don't want to lose to them. And even being on broadcast, it doesn't matter. Like, you still bleed green and white. You still feel like emotional if you're about to lose the game, and I can't just break down on the air. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, we got a chance here. You're like them 5-star generals. Everybody look in your eyes to see. You set the tone of what the team's going to do, but not the team in this case. More like the people listening on the air. He stays in and somehow got all the way across that line, man. Jake Butt tackles him. Isn't that who chased him down?
Yeah,
from Michigan.
Yeah, it was Jake Butt. And tackled him, fell on his hip, and he broke his hip there. But after that, Jalen Watts Jackson will never have to pay for a drink in East Lansing his entire life,
ever. And
I'm not sure he was thinking about that when he did it. But to your point, his name is stamped in history for time and time forever. Like, there's no way anybody else is going to take that shine. I don't care. Like, even K9, like, you did some work, but that whole – there's no way that someone takes and replaces his name in the books.
Exactly.
No, not in one single play. K9 had a Herculean effort for one player over the course of the game in this rivalry, but no greater play than that play right there by Jalen Watts-Jackson. Look, guys, you know, there was a lot going on outside of football this time of year, Otis. And, you know, right now, let's get to the Spartan Athletics update by our own Brendan Duravage.
Lots of action to get into this week's Spartan Athletics update, where last night, MSU volleyball took down that school down the road 3-1 to sweep the season series against the Wolverines. Taylor, you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, again shine for the Spartans with 17 kills. Men's soccer remained unbeaten on the season after a 2-2 draw against Maryland on Sunday. MSU was down 2-0 at halftime, but battled back to force the draw, remaining the only undefeated team in the Big Ten and rising to 20th in the United Soccer Coaches Poll. Hockey's Joey Larson found the back of the net 3 times in MSU's 5-3 victory over Air Force last week. The hat trick earned Larson Big Ten Second Star of the Week honors. And women's soccer got their first ever road win in Piscataway on Sunday, defeating Rutgers 2-0 to finish their regular season road schedule undefeated for the second year in a row. The Spartans wrap their season with back-to-back home games against Illinois and Iowa. Make sure to come out and support your Spartans all year long, and as always, go green.
Man, that was a great update by our guy, Brendan. Brendan is taking over, man, from a standpoint.
He's doing it.
He is doing it. So shout out to Brendan and giving us that update. This is the busiest time when we're hosting Michigan. You know, yesterday we had Michigan State women's volleyball taking over and hosting Michigan. So tomorrow on Friday, we also have hockey playing Friday game.
I'll be there.
If you are coming to watch our hockey team, DirecTV is doing a little activation right outside where FanFest is at. So come in, engage, and enjoy those festivities. We've never really had a tailgate or something like that from a fandom standpoint for hockey. So it's kind of your trial and error there. But
what time?
I can't keep time. Time is 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm sorry.
The game is at 7. The
game is at 7.
Okay.
5:30.
Okay.
5:30. Come all the way up to, they call it face off. Is it face off?
Yeah.
It's not tip off. Face off.
Puck drop.
Puck drop. There you go. So 5:30 to 7 o'clock, and until once the puck drops, they'll be out there engaging with Spartan fans. But this is where you got to get your calendar right. You got to have your full out schedule, your staff situated, because you got too many sports going at once. And so you don't want to drop anything from a standpoint of corporate partners, activations, but this is where the busiest time, fall is in the air, but a lot of sporting events are going at the same time. So come on, support everybody that you can.
And then be careful. That's for the Spartans, obviously, but coming in is Canisius Golden Griffin, the school from Buffalo, coming in for the hockey game. So
of course,
you got to throw that
shameless plug for the New York.
I know. Coming in hot late on Friday night. So yeah, tomorrow we'll figure that one out, man. Maybe the after party or third period or something like that. I can catch it. Choose is going to be there. I'm sure it's going to be some. Do they have beverages going on in MUN?
No.
Is that happening? No, nothing yet.
After January 1. So
okay.
Yeah, but they've been walking it, getting set up for success. And but January 1, any games after that, you will see beverages or libations being partake. What's the new word, Stray? What's the new word?
I like libation. That's
word of the day of drinks.
Cocktails. But yeah, hockey just goes a lot better with beer. It just seems, cold ice, hockey, beer. That's one of those things. Guys, look, good news in Spartan world. There's been some bad news recently about decommitments, but Michigan State lands 3-star defensive back Keyshawn Williams.
Yeah, that's a big pickup for the Spartans. DB there, and the guy that really had an integral part in bringing Keyshawn in is Coach Harlan Barnett. And so, it shows that Coach Barnett really loves the university. He's still going out actively recruiting, bringing guys in. And it shows that Keyshawn is, committing to the school. We talk about that, figuring out a way to, figure why you're going to a school. And obviously he likes what Michigan State has to offer as a school-wise there. So, right now it's still early. He still can change his mind depending on who the next coach is coming in. But from right now, he believes in Michigan State. And so that's why he made the decision to come. That's great. You see people leaving or decommitting. It's really cool to see someone, stick and make that commitment.
And I think Coach B, good, to correct or to add on to what Chuchu just said, Coach Barnett is not stagnant, right? Like he is forward thinking, and the business doesn't stop. Regardless of what's happening, record or even the program where it's at, it does help that Jalen Thompson, who is already in this class, is playing right next to or with Keyshawn. But it's an element that in the article that came out, is that he's a top talent out of Tennessee. 3 stars, but this guy is having expected to have a great senior season with the best right now. So I think this is a good testament to Coach B being a guy who goes after the character guys, and that's going to fit the model of a defensive back. And when you see 6'1", 180, this guy could potentially put on pounds and be like 205, right? So, thank you for Tony L. He did tear his ACL in his junior year. So schools obviously kind of not drop, but kind of take him off the radar. He's already got a major injury, but to the true testament to Coach B and then obviously our coaching staff, Salgado, we're not sitting and being stagnant and being complacent here. We're going out still getting guys and recruiting guys for the future of Michigan State football.
I'll question one other guy we've had on the show a few times that talked about having an injury his junior year, and a lot of teams laid off of him, came back in, was Javon Ringer, right? I know that you know about that, Chew.
Yeah, absolutely. Rings is a guy that, had that knee injury in high school, and a lot of teams shied away from him, but he, Michigan State stuck with him. He stuck with Michigan State, and he definitely produced at Michigan State. Now he's in the Hall of Fame.
Without question. We'll take that. Hey, lofty goals for Keyshawn Williams. Not trying to put anything on you, my man, but thank you for making the commitment, the right choice to come to Michigan State University. Listen, all this stuff, what's going on now will blow over, and the sun will come up tomorrow. Hopefully it comes up on Saturday against Michigan in the rivalry game. Guys, we talked about it. We touched on it a little bit last show, but Otis, I know you know about this. The green and white game. Basketball scrimmage is happening on Saturday, same day as the big game.
Hey, man, you want to add another event to the schedule, but this is an opportunity to, I feel like whoever made the decision, I feel like Father Tom, Coach Izzo, and the staff there, taking into consideration the weather. It may be raining, it may be gloomy, whatever the case may be, but Spartan fans can get inside of Breslin and take kind of another purview of what they may have saw at Michigan State Madness. But those green and white scrimmages, man, they are intense, but they are one of the best competitive back and forth with the inner squad that it gives you a little preview of what's going to happen when we start exhibition next week. So all good to have an event that happens that morning to get people here. Come early, tailgate, but be able to walk in there and see a scrimmage and then go back out and partake in the festivities of football fandom. It's a great environment to add to what's happening Saturday already.
Man, and doors open at 2:00. Scrimmage starts at 2:30, and it's the right price too, Otis.
Free $99. That's the best price.
Best price. I mean, that Breslin's better be rocking. With all the people that are in town for that particular game, obviously 2:30. I mean, that'll be great to cheer the boys on on the hard court, and then to come over to Spartan Stadium, obviously to cheer the football team on to victory over those guys from the school down the road. Chew, when you're talking about the rivalry game, What is your fondest memory as a player?
Man, there's so many different memories there. Obviously I had a, really good relationship with, Michigan running back at the time. Now they're running backs, Coach Mike Hart. We played against each other in high school, went several recruiting trips together, playing against him. Unfortunately, we were one of those teams, and my class, we were 0-4 against Michigan, and a lot of close ones that, my redshirt freshman year at Michigan, the triple overtime game when Mr. Edwards went off on us there. That's something that sticks out there, having the opportunity to win it, and, had kickers, didn't come through. Saw a lot of different things on the sidelines there, but a lot of good, hard-fought games, and it just really instilled the hatred for that school down the road in me, and instilled I will continue to be very, very petty. Whatever chance I can get to take knock them off, I will take that. And that's why, I'll be the, we talked a little bit about it. Taylor Lewan, he's sending these messages out and doing all these things. I'm like, yeah, he should. He has pride in his school. We can sit and get on him and say, hey, you're 1-3 against, Michigan State. Yeah, but he still went there. He played in the game. The hatred's real, so he's going to do that. I was 0-4, and I would still do that. After we win, I'm still going to do something like that. And I didn't win against them, but I played it, everything. So definitely, the hatred's still there. The rivalry still runs very, very deep. We talked about it on Tuesday. I'm not a kid that was born and raised in Michigan, but once I came here, I really learned that rivalry and really took to it, at a young age of a freshman.
And you ran with it. You're bringing up Taylor Lewan, and we want to play that if we can. I know it may not be a family-friendly or post that he made, but we got to talk about that in a minute. The Taylor Lewan comments from him. He likes making a lot of comments. He loves talking. Chu said he's all for the talking, but we got to let everybody hear what he's had to say.
Need to stop off. My daughter's watching Aladdin real quick. Long day at the bus, and I get to my mentions. I made a little comment today. Michigan State basketball school. Is that a true statement? Yeah, it absolutely is. And people, I see the comments. And first off, I'll give you guys a little bit of flowers. Shout out to State fans. Coming out my neck, bro. Coming to get me. Oh, -43 rushing yards, 1-3 versus Michigan or Michigan State. You're garbage. You're garbage. Brother, you're right. When I was at Michigan, we sucked. We were terrible. We didn't stand a chance every single year. But guess what? You State fans keep looking at the past, brother. Go ahead and look right in front of you. Because staring at you on Saturday afternoon is a freight train coming. Yeah, I'm not on the team. God willing, I wish to God I played on one of Jim Harbaugh's teams at University of Michigan. They are locked and loaded. They have a locker room that is about the vibe, that is about the boys, and they're about to put 50 at least on you, mother. I can't wait. Cannot wait for Saturday when you guys somehow delusionally talk yourself into, well, we've got a shot. You think about it, their defense isn't that good, and they can't run the ball that well, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get after them. I can't wait for that moment, because when you do, that's when you have hope. And I love the fact, I can't do it. I'm just an alumni, but I love the fact that my boys in Ann Arbor are going to come and pluck away every bit of hope you guys have. God bless and go blue.
As a guy growing up in the state of Michigan, born in Texas, right? But Texas boy, but lived in Michigan, Flint to be exact. How was this rivalry for you as a player at Michigan State?
I've always came from the mantra or even the angle perspective of I don't care about any other game. Yes, I would like to win a Big Ten championship. I would like to have did that. I'd like to win one of the bowl games postseason. But you beat the team down the road, man. I'm good. Not saying I'm complacent of after that, but this is when you mark on your calendar of you got to ball out, because typically they are right when they come in, and so it's an element of this is a nice little draft preview for what you're playing against their top receivers. They always had a good core of receivers, always had a running back, and had a stud quarterback. So if you're able to do that and play well, it was kind of a good thing for your career. But my aunt played basketball at Michigan, so it's very deep rooted in the family that we went for a full divide. Now I feel like every defensive back or every young kid growing up loved Charles Woodson. I don't care who or what you came from, like the way he played the game, the way you wanted to obviously emulate him, punt returning and playing offense and defense. Like it's Deion Sanders, but then like in our era for me was Charles Woodson balling out, especially when he had the rolls in his mouth. Like you wanted to have that moment like he did, like punt return, close the deal, win the Heisman, right? And for me, this is coming all the way from like grade school all the way up to where, kids are playing, they're picking a side are already, depending on where their parents went to school. A lot of house divided here. For me, my best, fondest memory is, obviously the win at the big house, because it was a pressure of responsibility of guys that came before us, but also that's going to come after us. And to win in the fashion of in 2008. Now, mind you, I didn't play because I was injured. I was like a game time decision, but I prepped all the way into it. Just the knee and the foot, like just was banged up. But the guys that went out there, like Danny Fortners of the world and Jeremy Wares, like Ross Weaver and those guys, Ashton, like collectively that team win. Like I hold near and dear because they were down offensively, but we didn't care. Like I don't care who they got. Like we got to go get it. And so my junior year though is when Chad Henne, threw that interception to myself. I actually say he threw that interception. It was right before half, and like we had that game so controlled, like it was in our grasp, man. Like, and so for that little brother comment, like when you're out on the field, you gave your all and you let it slip. That kind of gave me that memory of when we played in Maryland, like how it just unfolded, like everything's controlled until the end. Like you got to play to the end of the game. And so my fondest memory is making those plays, man, personally, but just to help the team. That was my biggest memory is that.
Man, in that game, wasn't there another quarterback that played as well, on top of Chad Henne?
Ryan Mallett. That's what Ryan Mallett came in because that's when Sackmaster came and like we was coming at him, boy. St. Deke. But then like if only you scooped the ball. We talk about this.
That play
in the city. You're in the city, or are you in the country? Clearly, there's traffic, so you're in the city. You need to fall on it and cover that thing like it's your baby, right? But people thought you're in the country, you got time, and just I can hear the gasp of just silence when the ball got popped out, and then all of a sudden you see number 20 pick that thing up and just like me and him. This is open field tackle that you can kind of attest to it. Me and him open field. If I don't get that, he might have been gone. So, like, I get him open field, boom, tackle him. And then I'm like, we need to be sitting right there on the sideline because Chad Henne was throwing those comebacks every time he could. I'm like, just sit on the sideline and just wait for it. Just wait for it. Tackle him inbounds because at this point, timeouts are gone. They're going down, driving, and just legendary. Like, kudos to them, man. Like, they played the hand that we gave them, but it still hurts. It still hurts. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't care. I don't care to say get over it. As you grow older as a man, it still hurts because we could have won in Spartan Stadium easily with that in year one and Coach D too. But I do love Coach D's responses. You already know, like his response all in all. Yeah,
and I think losing that game took our program further than winning that game would have been. I honestly feel that, from that comment, the tone was set, the little brother's comment, then leads up to the pride comes before the fall comment. I think losing that game.
It's never over. We'll never be over. That bottom lip was like
t-shirt drop.
Yeah. But I think, losing that game really set our program up for the next 10, 12 years under Coach D in that game there. So that's, so it was tough, but I think it really set us up for success.
It was a great time, seeing, Coach D come in and really flip that rivalry to the good guys for us. I can remember my fondest memory. It was 1995. You guys are probably, I don't know, in elementary school or something like that, maybe middle school for you. But
8 years old.
so
baby.
this was Saban's first year. Nick Saban's first year on campus. It was freezing. I think it was like maybe 2 degrees in that game. Super cold. And you had Brian Greasy doing his thing. But, Derek Mason had a 70-yard kickoff return or punt return touchdown, if I can remember. We led that game early in the ballgame in the half. I think it was like 14-3 at the half. But Brian Greasy comes back and he does his thing, man. I mean, now it's 25-21 at the end of the ballgame. And Tony Banks is leading the drive, right? He's marching down the field, and it's like 3rd and forever. And I'm on the sideline at this point because I'm redshirt, right? So I'm on the sideline, and I see this guy. They talking about this kid that was all world coming out of Ohio playing at Michigan, and he's gassed. It's Charles Woodson. I seen the smoke, and he's breathing. You usually don't see defensive backs lumbering like that. But I saw that, and, Derek Mason being the player that we know he is in that beautiful NFL career, he made a move on him. And when Woodson went for the ball, everybody talks about that Heisman year where he did get the interception on the sideline. I was like 10 feet away from that. He was in bounds. But this one, early in his career, he did not make it. He tipped the ball, but as he tipped it, it flew behind his back. Derek Mason catches it on the ground to keep the drive alive. Tony Banks subsequently throws a 25-yard touchdown to Najee Carter, that same northeast corner where Little Giants went off, where the big Hail Mary. That corner has had a lot of phenomenal plays, and this is one of them. Michigan State beats Michigan in Nick Saban's first year on campus at home. That was a big one. That's huge. As far as us being on the field, that's just us. Right. Not our favorite, I'm sure. There's a lot of them. We can't forget the Duckett play. Right. The smoker. There's been some great plays out there, but those are hard.
Because I'm involved in it, but that Payco fumble recovery running it in was also
man.
It was like my freshman 05. I was like, that's
the loudest I've ever heard the stadium.
I was like, this is why I came here. It's like, this is why I came here. Look at that, baby. Like all I did was block Mike Hart and then like lead it in, but like I was like, this is why, bro. Like this is it. Oh God, stop. I get still thinking about that, man. It's lovely.
Oh man. Great stuff, guys. Look, we got to break down the game that's going to be coming up here on Saturday. You got to get into the X's and O's. That's what we're here to do. After these messages from our friends over at IHOP and SeatGeek.
Introducing IHOP's new menu with perfectly crispy yet fluffy waffles, warm, flaky buttermilk biscuits, juicy, satisfying steak burgers, decadent eggs Benedicts, and more. It's time to find your new favorite. Don't worry, we won't tell the pancakes. Only at IHOP. Let's put a smile on your plate.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception? First down? Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Always love our partners over at IHOP and SeatGeek. Be sure to keep dropping those stacks and those tickets in the live chat. We love it. Now it is time for the Main Financial Group Stat Breakdown, brought to you by Main Financial Group at 248. Be sure to call those guys over there, 248-347-MAIN, and at mainfinancialgroup.com. Jordan, Main, Spartan Dawg will take care of you with his staff. Make sure you maximize your wealth and minimize your worries. Guys, let's get into the Michigan preview. They're number 2. Michigan comes into Michigan State. Michigan State right now is sitting around a 24.5, 25-point underdog. And we want to know what it's going to take. So right now we're going to go right into some film breakdown and looking at the offense for Michigan. So this is the perspective of Michigan State's defense. We've got a play here. Michigan against Indiana. This is just last week. And you have J.J. McCarthy in an empty backfield. Let's run the tape.
Now, before you even play this, we already know who the stud guys and the playmakers, right, start out. Like, we need to know where number 2 is at all times on the field. Now, for me, if I'm looking at here as a defensive back, safety-wise, you got this guy trips right, with our defense, you got to be able to point, all right, number 2 is right over there, expecting him to kind of just be decoying it, right? But from a standpoint, you got to really determine this man's speed on the jet motion. So motion-wise, if he's kind of, straggling along, jogging a little bit to get replaced back on the, gun right or gun left, then there's an element of like a read option pass play action. But with his speed, he's trying to time up this snap. So you also got to look at J.J. McCarthy's pre-snap tendencies, if it's a clap or if it's, looking here. So you can play it now. Little jog here. Look, you see that? Just from a standpoint, it was a direct snap, right? So you're looking at how are we going to bump, right? Bump. Somebody should be already establishing the outside edge. Clearly, this corner wants no parts of what's happening. But if you're looking at as a D coordinator with Hazelton, somebody's got to be setting this edge. If that's the D end coming straight up the field, gap control, or you got the corner coming straight up and making him turn into the other pursuit of the defense, those are the elements. Is that communication is key. And it's like jet motion is automatic, should be bumped, right? It should be automatic carrying over, this readjust. But somebody needs to come and set the edge. Now, with Chuck Brantley being out, that was a guy who really set the edge. As small as he may be in stature, he had a heart of like, I'm going to set the edge or make the play. Like, make the play first, but at the very least, you set the edge so that he's able to turn it back in to the other pursuit. I think the communication is going to be key on obviously the offensive guys, knowing who is going to get the ball, but also formation standpoint.
Great breakdown there, because you can see that the offense had the plus side. They had numbers in that jet motion. It was easy to basically hook everybody on that defense and have an easy first down pickup by Blake Horn. I like that. You talking about where's number 2? Where's number 2
now? Because they showed that, right? They showed that we got to be disciplined from an eye standpoint, because this also can be just a fake, just to be a decoy, and could be a run from JJ to the opposite side where that jet motion came, or these guys got to be able to determine speed of the routes, because if guys are coming off the line, jogging and then blocking, or they're coming off like jogging, stock block, and then go, this could be a double move, or this could be a trick play. So you got to be sound, because clearly we're looking at it and we're game planning for that play and for those tendencies. But that additional piece of it, like, there's other options within that play formation. So you got to be able to be disciplined to make sure like no one's doing the most. Do your job, stay in your area, control your gap, control your zone, because the element of if it's a pass backside, like, we're going to be set there ready for it. So I think that's an element too.
So what you're referring to is the offensive coordinator is setting up plays for the future based on formations from the week before. So
man, listen, you guys
are offensive guys.
You know you got.
Is that how that works? I'm just.
Yeah, that's how it works. Just like there's always
asking for a friend.
Yeah, there's always plan Z's within the formation, right? So you got to be prepared for that. That you should be just. This ain't high school where you want dimensional. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be prepared for it.
I'm just saying. I know what it is. I'm just saying. Sometimes, we like that creativity. So you got to be ready for it on defense. So here's another play for Michigan's offense. Let's see the master defense, the boss Otis Wiley, break this one down. It's in the red zone.
We talk about another element. Like, listen, tight ends are very vital in this offense. Like, very athletic tight ends. So you already see a switch in formation and adjustments on this right now. So coming from 89, that's 89 coming in, motioning or just adjusting to the right side. This is an element of, hey, this is another thing standpoint. Like, you got just an extra blocker, right? Extra blocker, looking at where Blake is set up. You got Kyle Holiday, you got Jordan Hall. You typically see Jordan Hall coming in on these goal line stands because this guy is a communicator, but also a gap filler, and he sees ball, eat ball. So, you're looking at the tendencies. You can snap this ball, but let's go to the offensive line tendencies first. Offensive line, boom, pass set, quick, immediately, it's pass. Already, if you look at the far side, that corner is already beat. Like, is already holding right now. So that means his eyes were not locked in. I need to do my job. I got lost in the sauce on this play action. All of them. But now this right near side, on the hash near the boundary, this corner is playing his gap, is playing his role, his responsibility. He has that receiver locked up. But just like I told you, this extra blocker is a tight end to give JJ more of a halo from a pass protection. But keep playing the play. You have to look, linebackers got lost too, right? So you got to be able to say, hey, immediately
pick your poison. Yeah, two guys wide open.
Line sets. You got to get back and do your hook curl, or if we're a man, you got to stay on your man. Like, I don't let the front do their job. You got to do your job, because when all levels do their job, look, I didn't even see this play, to be honest with you, before you see those two arrows that Fox Big Noon did. Like, they lost control of their man. Like, got lost. Like, you can't make these plays. You got everybody else. But if they lock on these guys, it's a different story, right? A different story. That it could be a pass breakup or you can be a coverage sack, but you can't lose your responsibility and what you're supposed to do in the call.
All right, let's go to the next play. This is, again, Michigan State defense looking at what Michigan's offense has done before. This is them against Indiana, again, up 21-7 in the third quarter.
Trips left. Look, I'm out here going back to the time, like, communication now is a different defense, but from a standpoint of
formation.
Yeah. So standpoint here, you got a guy already locked in on that front guy right now. So let's see if IU can respond if you snap this ball from a standpoint immediately. Looking at offensive standpoint, grown as a quarterback, you got to keep him locked in the tackle box. You can't allow him to go here. So this DN goes too far in. You got to be able to set the edge. Now, if you set the edge, then honestly, could be a sack, or he steps up into the pocket and does another scramble. But you got to be able to lock this in from a rush standpoint, and then you can already see the gap, or the gap standpoint. There's these DBs and these receivers, they're out of phase already. Like, look at my man's linebacker in the middle, like on the block M. Look at this, receivers long gone. Like, that's like a 3 or 4 yard gap right there. But keep playing it.
Put him in conflict and make him think that, hey, you got to come tackle me as a quarterback.
Yeah. That's absolutely.
So McCartney threatens the line of scrimmage and points right over his head, telling the tight end, keep going, I got you, and throws him right over the corner's head.
Absolutely.
Why do you do that? Why does a corner do that,
Look, trying to be a hero, man. You try to be a hero, right? You want to make the big play.
Be mind instead of us we are.
Right. Like, you are never taught.
If we can go back to that play real quick, just the beginning of that play, you don't have to play it, just the formation there. Otis, like, if you're that in that bunch formation there, you guys call it diamond, we call it bunch. That DB, how important is it to put hands on that guy, at the point of that bunch?
Sorry, again, say that again.
How important is it for that DB to put hands and try to at least reroute the point guy in the bunch formation?
Oh, yeah. You can mess up the entirety. Like, when you're in a bunch, there's going to be some crossing routes, like, immediately from the snap. So if I hold up this one first on press coverage here, you're punching them in the mouth. If it all depends on if it's man to man or we're zone. But this is an opportunity to say, hey, as soon as that ball snaps, I'm rerouting it. I'm jamming.
Right.
I'm jamming where at least I'll eliminate one guy and ride him into the traffic. Or, like you said, you can jam this one guy into this other guy too. So you can you can eliminate and erase two receivers, and you eliminate options for JJ McCarthy. But when you snap the ball, this is all an element. I don't know if he knew what he's supposed to do or what he's not supposed to do. But clearly he's no hands. You cannot play man to man and not get one jam offhand, or listen, you got to slow some guys down. Like, it is what it is. Mano a mano. I've never covered a man-to-man guy with no hands at all. Like, there's absolutely no way to do it.
It's like pass blocking with no hands.
Yeah, like there's no way. Like, now if your feet are that, if your feet are that
side
sweet,
drills,
right? If your feet are that sweet, like I'm talking sweet, then yeah, you can do that. But you gotta off jam it to slow it down and know, like, now I can recognize the speed, but I also can recognize the route. But then all those guys in man-to-man, like, they didn't lock on their man. Like, you got to lock on their man. When the pre-snap is happening, I don't care what else is happening. I'm locked in on my guy. He runs to the tunnel. I'm right there with him. Like, that's the mano a mano mindset. So when we're in defense and the call is called, our secondary's got to just be locked in. It's mano a mano. If I know I'm in man, I'm locking my man down. I'm communicating, bumping things. If it's zone, get to your hook curl, get to your third, eyes on the quarterback, but make sure you're covering the deepest of the deepest, because we can always come up.
Always. Hey, Otis, the boss, Wiley, listen, you got a lot of jobs. We wear a lot of hats on that campus, but none more important than the one that you got to wear right now. You got to go take care of them babies, man. I know you got some family situations going on. Thanks for the expertise in breaking down Michigan State defensive opportunities against the school down the road, man. We will see you on Saturday.
Absolutely, man. Go green. Let's get it, baby. Let's go.
Go white. All right, man. Otis Wiley, you got to go do some important stuff, man. But Chew, look, it's not lost. We're going to keep on breaking it down. Like, look, we're not defensive players. We got a couple more plays if we could. Let's just look at what Michigan tends to do. I think this is a 4th down situation.
4th and 1. 4th and 1. They're gonna say, we're gonna go big on big. Our guys are better than your guys, and we're gonna hand the ball to our guy who we feel is, the best running back in the country. So can you stop him, or can we move you? And it all is predicated on the offense, on that offensive line. Look at that blue line. That's the line of scrimmage. Look at the feet, of which jersey is the white jerseys, past that blue line, or is the red jersey past the blue line? That's what it comes down to in a 4th and 1 like this.
All right, let's roll the tape. Man.
And you see every single white jersey is past that blue line there. So that's what you have to defensively. You have to stay low. You have to create piles, and then your linebackers come in and clean up. That's what you need to do on that.
Unbelievable. Good play there by the center here. If you look at the center on that particular play, he didn't fire off the ball, if we can pull that back up, but he comes off, double teams the left guard, and comes off to the linebacker, which causes that crease for Blake Corum right there. Boom. Yep. Yeah. That's textbook. Not a quarterback sneak team. Not really heavy in that. They put J.J. McCarthy out in space, and they like to use the running backs, and none better than Blake Corum coming downhill. Haven't seen a lot of Donovan Edwards out of Michigan this year, as we've seen in his freshman and sophomore seasons. This year as a junior, haven't seen a ton. I think he just scored his first touchdown for Michigan as a tailback. But one more play for Michigan offensively. This is them again against Nebraska. This is early on in the ball game. We talk about being able to get up on them early. IU was able to do that. I think they led the game 7-0 in the first quarter, but this is how not to do it when you're Michigan State playing against Michigan. They're rushing 3 here. Let's snap it.
So you just have to play better. You can't come with 3 guys and not, not be able to stop the pass deep there. So put pressure on them, make them make a decision. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the offensive side of the ball for Michigan State. This is looking at the Michigan defense and opportunities for Michigan State offensively to attack the defense. I know we've been doing this for a couple of weeks. Maybe one day they'll do what Chew and I and Otis talk about here. Let's see. Let's run the tape. I think. What are we starting off here with?
This is sneak.
Quarterback sneak scenario.
No push. You got to go here. Now the thing that happens is traditionally quarterback sneaks. Before, the Philadelphia Eagles made this popular, the quarterback would get to the line and he will assess it to see where that bubble is. There's a little bubble that, he could take it, pull, and then go to that spot. Now that the tush push eliminates those things. So now it's really big on big. Let's see if we can push our guy across. So let's run it here and see. You see, they don't. I don't know if they got. I think the mark there that they got it, but
they gave them some love on this one.
Yeah, that bubble over to the right hand side there. If a quarterback gets it, the right hand side. If we could go back to the beginning and just stop it there, go back at the beginning of the play. Where is it set? Right there. Yeah, so you see there's a little gap, right between the center and the guard there. Traditionally, the quarterback will take that, pull it, and then go to that side. He will have an easier time of finding a bubble. But now with the tush push, you don't really get that anymore. They just take it and go behind there. But that's a play that, it's there for us. So let's go to the next play.
Yeah, the bubble is usually the one technique or the shade. So inside, if the guard whichever guard has an inside technique is usually where they want to run those sneaks. Let's go to the next one, like you said. Wow, another trips right as far as Otis is concerned, but trips left for the offense.
Yes, trips left for the offense. Now they're going to, Indiana's, feeling themselves a little bit here. They're going to see how disciplined this Michigan defense is. Are they going to be able to have have their assignments and contain, and are they going to be able to stick to what they're called, or are they going to be caught sleeping? So there's a little trick play that he's that pass now. His break is coming down, and that Indiana receiver is doing a really good job to selling it like he's going to go up there and block him, and he's just going to bluff him and continue to go over for that.
Oh no! Number 3. Yeah, he got caught up right there. And that was a bad pass, backwards lateral pass. He hit the ground, it looked like, but it's a live ball when it's backwards. Remember that. Good play by Indiana to get on the board early. As we said, they were up 7-0 on Michigan in the first quarter of that ball game. All right, let's go to the next play. It's against Nebraska. Okay, Nebraska. Let's see. This is what not to do. Got empty backfield. See what the quarterback does. This is Caden Hauser. You have good vision so he can see those lanes. I know what drives offensive coordinators crazy is when those quarterbacks get the balls tipped. But Hauser's got he's a decent sized guy, 6'3". He's going to get this start once again. So we got to see if he can pay attention to these types of things and have a good game. There's going to be a lot of opportunities out there. If we move on to the next play right here, talking about Caden Hauser and company. It's got to draw it up right there. We look at breaking down the offensive defensive side of the ball against Michigan school down the road. These are the things that in our mind that you need to do in order to be able to execute. Look, this is a good team. This is a very good team that's coming in here. They're well coached. This is a team, when you look at their statistics, they're top 5 in a lot of national categories on the defensive side. Number 1 defense, by the way, scoring defense in the country. Total defense, they're number 2. But one of the things that really stands out, fewest penalty yards, number 1 in the nation, 17.6 yards a game on penalties. Michigan State, 113th, 66 yards per game. So there's going to be a factor.
Yeah, those are those penalties. Those are those hidden yards. You're giving away 66 yards a game. To 16 yards a game. So that's big. So you have to be disciplined. You have to be assignment focused, and you can't give anything cheap. You can't give anything free in a game like this. You have to stay the course. You have to stay ahead of the chains offensively and defensively. You have to make the Michigan's offense feel uncomfortable. You have to make their quarterback feel uncomfortable, their running backs feel uncomfortable. So you have to be able to do those things, because this is a very good team, but at the end of the day, you still have to play the game.
100% you do. You got to play the game. And you look at third down is going to be a huge deal in this game. third down defensively, third down offensively. You look at Michigan's offense, they're fourth in the country in third down conversion. Michigan State's at 100, but Michigan State on the defensive side, top 3. A third-ranked top 3 defense in third down conversions. That's I know that we talked about this a few weeks ago, that Michigan State hasn't gotten into third down, but they have as of recently against schools like Iowa and Rutgers.
Yeah, because the reason that they were able to have success on third down is because they put those offenses in third and long situations, third and medium, third and long. It hasn't been the third and 2s, third and 1s, third and 3s. Those are a lot easier to convert than those third and long opportunities. So that's why we talked about that Michigan State defense have to make this offense uncomfortable, put them in positions that they're not familiar with, put them in positions that they haven't been into too many times. A lot of third and 7s, third and 8s, put them in those positions, and then they'll have that success that they're, top 3 in the country on third down defense. They will have that success.
Another thing Michigan State's got to do, and I know you know all about this, is be able to capitalize in the red zone. Michigan comes in number 1 ranked red zone defense. Michigan State's got to capitalize and get points, come away with points, no matter how you do it.
Yes, you have to do that. The important thing, you said it right there, come away with points. Field goals are good, touchdowns are better. But when you're in that red zone, you have to become more creative as a red zone play caller. You have to do different things to get that defense to be confused in that red zone. So the red zone efficiency has to be, on point. It can't be a predictable red zone call. You can't run on first down, run on second down, and then want to throw the ball. Do things. What do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose.
That's right.
Just let it all hang out there and go after it.
Got to let it all hang out. And you talk about the guy who got his first start a week ago in Caden Hauser. Is he up to the challenge?
He's going to have to be. He has no choice. Coach Barnett said it in his presser that that's why he chose to come to Michigan State. He has to be up to the challenge. Any quarterback that's in there has to be. Anybody that wears the green and white that steps on the field has to be up to the challenge. And as a quarterback, you have to protect the football first and foremost. And then the second thing, you have to make good decisions. Protect the football, make good decisions. And your offensive line has to protect the quarterback and be able to run the football. That's going to keep that Michigan high-powered offense off the field, and it'll shorten the game for the Spartans.
You got to do that. Time possession is going to be huge in this one. Here are words from head coach Harlan Barnett on Caden Hauser before we go. Let's get hyped up a little bit about that. This is what he talked about with Caden.
Well, he's a college football player. He understands what he was signing up for when he signed the scholarship, and this is one of the reasons why he chose to come to Michigan State is to play in games like this. He came from a big-time high school program out there in California at Bosco, and so not that Bosco is playing this type of game, but he's used to big-time atmospheres and high expectations. So expecting him to do and have a great game.
Well, Chew, hey, listen, enough said. There's been a lot of talk. I'm going to keep breaking this thing down as we continue through pregame show and ultimately for the game on Saturday. I know you're fired up. I'm fired up. I mean, what else is there to say about this? Isn't it time to just play?
It's time to play the game. But now the players, they got to take care of business on the field. All right. But at the end of the day, too, Michigan State fans, if you're coming to this game thinking you're going to go watch your grandmother get beat with a baseball bat, don't even come. All right. If that's your thought process, if you got to come in there with faith, you come in there to cheer these guys on. Don't be selling your tickets. Don't let this be a takeover. The Lions, you guys are Detroit Lions fan. You see them go to different stadiums now, and they take over the stadium. Don't let this stadium be covered in maize and blue. That's what you can do. Come out there, support these guys. This a rivalry game. We have to be in it through the good or the bad. We all got that messed up family member, but we always stick by their side as well through the good and the bad. Right now, we are that messed up family member. Let's stick with each other and let's cheer these boys on. Let's have fun out there.
Messed up family member that has an opportunity to win a big game. That's what they have. Exactly. And they absolutely have the talent to do it. Let's not forget that. The talent is on that team. There's been ups and downs, obviously, throughout the course of the last few weeks. Michigan State just needs to put the game together to be able to execute all the way. The mantra of this week has been finish, and I fully expect them to be able to finish in this game against Michigan. Like, if you have a pulse, they're going to be hyped up for this game. It's going to be a night game full of libations, full of electricity from both sides. But I expect that student section to be deafening and the rest of the fans in Michigan State to just make it hell. Make it hard on J.J. McCarthy and those guys to communicate. They shouldn't be able to communicate out there. That makes a difference in the outcome of games. And I don't care if things go their way against us. You still have to be in the game. It ain't over until the damn thing's over. Don't forget that, guys. Look for. This is Sparta MSU is a combined presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. The show is produced by Tony LaBarbera, Tony Gustella, and Process Driven Consulting. Additional support is provided by Brendan Duravage. On-location technical support provided by Good Fruit Video. Be sure to follow our host Jason Strayhorn, Jehuu Caulcrick, and Otis Wiley on social media. To stay up to date with all the latest This is Sparta news, please like and subscribe by visiting our link tree and tell a friend to do the same. Thank you for your support, and as always, go green.